here we are again, once again.
That's right.
And I have a drink tonight.
And I do not.
And I think this
I
is
have
bad.
water. I have
So
water.
I had it's supposed to be rum and pineapple juice, but I don't know how long that chuck of pineapple juice was in our fridge. I mean, the date's not bad on it, but that just tastes a little weird.
Yeah, I don't. I got a bottle that I opened and I took a swig of it because it was like great value pineapple juice. I bought it
Yep.
to go with the vodka, and I was like, this tastes like shit. So it's still sitting in my fridge like 6 months later.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I trust what I'm drinking. I'm hoping that the rum is strong enough to kill whatever bacteria would kill my stomach tonight.
Hey, I've seen you eat some wild stuff. I think you'll be all right.
Yeah. That's totally true. Hey, how's it going? Yes, it's live for sure. Good evening, sweetheart. Yep, it's both of us. It's both of us. It's been a minute.
That's right.
Yeah. So, anyways, Jerry's been traveling a lot.
Correct.
He's turning
into Mike.
Yeah, Southern boy. I was gonna say he's an island boy. If you're a TikToker, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah, but
Southern boy.
No, that's cool though. You definitely got some adventures.
You gotta let me know when my accent starts changing.
No, man, you start talking like that, man. You know, I don't know. I'm probably gonna get canceled for culturally appropriating a crappy accent that isn't even legit.
Right.
The Islanders would be on me. Thank you very much. It's good to see you typing in the chat room. So some things I'm going to talk about tonight. Dude, I'm pumped for these latest additions to the Adobe suite of products.
I have yet to look at them.
Oh, my God. Yeah. So it's funny.
When did the update come out?
Yesterday.
So it's fairly new then.
Yesterday or 2 days ago. Might have been yesterday. My days at work the past week and a half have been pretty jam-packed, so trying to keep track of what's going on when has kind of been a little tough, but I think it was yesterday or the day before, but it's pretty cool. You know, there's some additions to Adobe Camera Raw, which I don't use Adobe Camera Raw.
Yeah, I rarely do.
Yeah, I'm pretty much just...
If I got to edit one image, I'll use it, but
yeah.
It's not bad. I like it.
No, yeah, it's got like everything you'd need, really.
Right.
It's just not a cataloger, but
hello, Steve.
Was shaking. But yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about a little bit tonight as far as like news in the industry goes. But I will address it's kind of a controversial news article in the camera world, and that was the final naming of what used to be Olympus. It is, what is it called? It's called OM System.
Oh, is that what Jen's announcement was, or the post she made about an announcement?
Yeah, it's funny because, and I say it's controversial because, oh man, it was like a 50-50 split. People that were pissed and people that were just like, you know, whatever.
So what'd they do? So it's not Olympus anymore then?
Nope. So when OM Digital Solutions bought them out, they knew that there would be like a rebranding, which I thought that's what, you know, the OM Digital Solutions was going to be. But apparently they went further, and I guess the final name of the company is OM System. Is that right?
System?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Man, I hope somebody in the chat room corrects me if I'm wrong, but the reason people were divided was because there was hype leading up to the announcement. And I think everybody was expecting a camera.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I thought we were getting a new pen.
Oh my God, dude. I've seen so many people that were waiting for a pen too, you know, pen up too. And they were pissed that it was all this hype just to announce a name for the company, which I think everybody kind of figured we were already done changing names, but hopefully this is the last.
How is that going to look on your camera?
I would think that it's just going to have a big OM on it, like you're meditating, like, oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's going to be.
It's weird.
Yes. I don't think that they took the cultural temperature of the photography community to find out, you know.
I'm sure they didn't.
No.
Usually acquisitions in that way. They do whatever they want.
Yeah, and there's again, it's a Japanese company, so there's always that culture disconnect. I mean, who knows? I mean, OM system might be the bomb in Japan as far as they're concerned over there, but I think Western countries that name kind of you know went over like a
Do,
fart
do
in
you
church.
think do you think it sucks because, or I'm not gonna say suck. That's being negative. Do you think it's weird because we're used to
Yeah,
Olympus?
that's a good. Yeah,
You know what I
definitely.
mean?
Yeah,
It's just different. People don't like change.
no. And it's going to be interesting because there are going to be people like me, you, and whoever has Olympus gear still. It still says Olympus across the
Right?
front. I mean,
Well,
I will refer to that equipment as Olympus
oh, I will too.
equipment,
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I was a little disappointed in so much buildup to something that was just a name change. I mean, there had been talk about a new, wow camera that they were going to do, like something big.
Right.
And I think that would have been probably the right time to tease it, at least during that announcement. They really didn't do that, but still it's a good way to keep themselves in front of everybody so people don't forget that they're out there, at least the non diehards anyways.
Right.
Yeah. So Steve says, who cares what the name is as long as it has the features you need as a photographer? Yeah. And that's my big hope and concern. Maybe, I don't want them to stop innovating because they've always been like
They've been
leaders at
good at
that.
it. Right. Right.
Yeah. I used to own a Datsun. I think it was like a Datsun 310. Is that a model? Datsun 310, a little hatchback. Oh my God, what a piece of crap. But let's see. So is the disappointment in the name change itself, or is everyone disappointed because there was no new gear announced?
Probably
No new
both.
gear announced.
I mean, probably both. Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's sticklers will be like, oh, what a weird name. But I think the hardcore photography fans and system, lovers wanted a new camera. I mean, and here's the funny thing is half those people that were pissed that there wasn't a camera announced, they probably wouldn't have bought it
Right.
anyways. you know?
Forget that camera. I'm going to grab my Canon out of the bag.
Right. Or there's so many people that when what was it? The 150 to 400, when the price was announced, there were so many people that were like, oh, that's freaking ridiculous. I'm not going to spend that much money on a lens. They don't even own like the 300 F4, which is, a fraction of the cost. So, some people just bitch just a bitch, but,
It's
like
America,
I said,
man.
yeah, right. Entitlement. Like I said, my disappointment was not so extreme that I felt like I needed to voice it all over Facebook and make posts, but it was just a little let down because I was hoping for a pen F2.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. When I saw Jen's post, I was like, oh, let that be a pen.
Yep. That's what a lot of people were hoping. Maybe down the road. I don't think that that'll be their wow camera because there were some teaser photos.
It won't.
Yeah. They shared like some images. They're kind of like almost like a silhouette with just a few areas of the camera highlighted that showed, what this new camera will look like. And that's funny. Yeah, I got a new sweatshirt. I don't have any hoodies left. I got rid of all my Olympus hoodies that were like old. But yeah, the teaser showed what basically looks like probably like the next, I don't know, the OM. Can I call it an OMD? I don't even know what they'll name it anymore. The OMS Mark 1. I don't know what it'll be, but it was more like it's like the EM1 style body, I guess you could say. You could tell that the shutter release didn't have the dial integrated into it anymore, it looks like. So some changes there. Interesting to see what they come up with.
Well, to be a full frame.
Oh my God. That,
I'd go kick freaking windows out of buildings if I was a kid.
And the funny thing is, there will be, if that happened ever, there will be people pissed off for a variety of reasons. One, they're going to be the people that are like, oh, they're selling out, they're supposed to stay micro 4/3, and whatever, then you don't buy that camera. Then there'll be people that are pissed because they left Olympus because they wanted full frame Olympus and they went to another system, and then now Olympus does it. But no, you can't please everybody all the time. So
nope, never a perfect camera, man.
There's not. That's why I have a couple.
Right.
They all have their ups and downs. So, but yeah. So anyways, that was just kind of my take on the rebranding, I guess. I mean, newsworthy. It made all the photography websites. Do I care that they changed names? No. Will I care
No,
when a new camera comes out? I'll be interested for sure.
for
Hey,
sure.
Michael Woods on tonight. Full frame camera, new line of lenses. Sign me up. God, like I need another freaking system in the house, but whatever. I am kind of tempted by that A7 IV though.
Ooh,
Dude, it's got a flippy screen.
it's got a articulating screen.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I want. I mean,
Yep. I mean,
I
it's pretty much everything that I said it was going to be last year.
yep.
Megapixel count was where I said it was going to be, and
It's even got the new menu system, which
yep,
is great.
yep.
You
I'll
know,
buy it. I'll probably buy it in the spring. I'm not going to run out and go buy it, but
right here on this episode, remember it, folks. I will buy it if the curtain can close to keep the freaking dust off the sensor. I'll get it. I'll sell the A7 III or something. I'll sell some stuff. But good evening, Mr. Thomas. How are you?
John.
Hey, John. Shelly and I did a senior photo shoot in Grand Rapids last weekend, and there was a marathon going, and I know you like to run. Were you there? Just curious. Inquiring minds want to know. That was interesting. I'll talk about that. So I lined up a senior shoot, and it kept getting moved just because of weather. It's this time of year in Michigan, so weather's always a factor. So it got bumped like twice. And finally, we got it set up so we could do it last Saturday. And we told them they're from my town, Eaton Rapids, and they wanted something different than all the kids around here have. So we suggested Grand Rapids. They wanted an urban feel. So we said, well, we'll do it in Grand Rapids. And they were super pumped and hyped on it. And we get to downtown Grand Rapids. Shelly and I do. We're on our way down there to meet where we told them to meet us. And all the roads are blocked off and closed off. There's a huge marathon going on. We couldn't even get to where we needed to be to meet them. It was insane. So pro tip number 1, if you're scheduling a shoot, make sure there's not a freaking marathon in the town. It was nuts. There's probably 30, 40,000 people down there. It was crazy. Hey, what's going on, Rick? You going to shoot the Aurora this weekend, sir? We've got a good chance of it. So anyways, yeah, that's just kind of an interesting thing that we ran into this weekend. And it was fun. I'll have a couple of photos from that I'll share as well. But,
from the marathon?
from the senior shoot. So tell us a little bit about your travels lately and some of the shooting you've been doing, because you've taken some shots when you've been out and about down there. So
I haven't taken many. Last week I was in Kentucky. No photos when I was down there.
Yeah.
What
what can we do to change that?
Time, man. I gotta have the time.
Yeah.
And then this week I was in Alabama. I had a little time this time. I rode around and
picked cotton.
Picked some cotton. Yes, I did. Found the strip club that's not too far from the hotel. I'll go back with a couple hundreds and ones next time. I did get a picture and I didn't post it, and I should have queued it up to
not from the strip club, right?
No.
Okay.
So I'm riding around and I get to this intersection and I see this big square
stripper.
No, it's I don't know, it's like the half of a size of cargo container.
Okay, yeah.
And it says ice on the side. Have you ever seen these?
On TikTok.
So I pull out. I was like, I know that's not an ice machine. So I pull up and I pull around. There's a guy out there and he's got this big ass bag and he's filling up. It's filling up with ice. So it's $2 for 22 pounds. All this thing is an ice maker. It's a standalone ice maker. So I was like, is that all this thing does is make ice? He's like, you must be from up north. I was like, I am. I thought that was cool. So I took some pictures of that. I mean, I've never seen one of those. A freaking standalone. I got to go to the store to buy ice. And you give them $3 for a 5-pound bag.
It's
so
interesting to me that ice is such a big thing down there that they just have standalone ice vending machines.
After I saw that one, I saw 4 other ones.
It's so crazy.
It's actually pretty cool, I think. I mean,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
definitely.
different. We don't got it. Yeah.
No. Well, maybe, maybe you start bringing those. I'll tell you what, that would do good along Lake Michigan, some of those beach towns down in Muskegon down by the beach, Grand Haven by the beach.
Yeah, for 2 months out of the year.
Yeah, and then the other half of the year you gotta make pizzas, like the vending machine in Jackson that makes pizzas.
Right.
Which
Did you guys go there yet?
No, I need to. I'll probably do it next week after work one day. So there's a pizza machine in Jackson that it's legit about the size of half of a shipping container, and you just walk up to it and there's a big menu on it and you punch in the kind of pizza that you want and it is all made and baked inside the machine and comes out a finished pizza in a box. It's crazy. So yeah, this is a photography podcast. I promise we won't just talk about ice and pizza and strippers and cotton. So
yeah, we will.
Yeah. Right.
They know by now.
Yeah. Yep. So, do you have any photos you'd like to share tonight?
I do not. I haven't shot in weeks.
Dang, Jerry.
I haven't had no time to shoot. I'm disappointed.
Yeah. I'll do a quick image share. And then I do kind of want to talk about that Adobe stuff, some of the features that I've been using from it.
Right.
I'm like I said, I'm pretty pumped on just how it works out. It's super cool. But anyways, let me just let me do this share here real quick. There we go. Whoop. There we go. Well, it's autumn in Michigan. Actually, we're kind of getting really deep into autumn now. It's going to be winter before we know it. But autumn in Michigan is definitely mushroom season. And if you're friends with me on Facebook, I'm kind of one of those weirdos that actually goes out and picks mushrooms and eats them, or cooks them. But I'm always looking for mushrooms to photograph. There's something cool just about the way these things grow. I don't know. They're so unique. But so this was just a couple of weeks ago, walking around out in the woods, and decided that I was going to go out and take my vintage glass with me. So this is shot with the Minolta 50 millimeter f1.4. And I did bring my Minolta 28 millimeter f2.8, but I just like the compression and everything you get with that 50 millimeter and shooting it wide open at 1.4. It's not the sharpest lens ever. It's pretty good in the center, wide open, but I mean, you get just a couple of inches off center with that and everything just kind of gets really soft at 1.4. But if you stop down on that lens to 1.8 or f2, it sharpens up super quick. But this is Sony A7 R4 with this shot, and that 50 millimeter from Minolta old glass on full frame is a treat. The next shot. So this was actually 2 weekends ago. Yeah, 2 weekends ago. Shelly and I went up north, just a little overnight getaway, and take the Bronco off-roading for the first time. And this was shot on some of the trails that we were on when we were off-roading up near Everett, Michigan, out in the woods. And Shelly has a good eye for spotting mushrooms off the side of the road. I mean, we're bouncing around in this truck, and she's like, "Oh, look at mushrooms." So we stopped at a couple of different spots. And this is with, again, I took the A7 R4 purely on accident. Actually, I had both my Sonys with me, but for some reason grabbed the R, which I don't shoot with a whole lot unless I know I need the resolution, or if I want to crop a lot, use those extra megapixels. But this is non-crop, just a straight shot out of the camera, and a little bit of fun with the processing. I've got a couple of presets I like to use when it's overcast to give that matte look. And this is with the Viltrox 85 millimeter f1.8, and I shoot that thing wide open all the time, even when I don't mean to. So this is at f1.8, and it's on auto ISO. It was dark in the woods, so I had to shoot wide open anyways, just to kind of get a faster shutter speed. I don't remember the ISO on this, but I'm sure it's definitely not at 100. Let me see if I can bring up the inspector here. I guess I just hit Command I to bring that up. Oh no, this is with the Tamron 28-75. I was completely wrong on that. And my ISO, I don't even know where it is on here. Well, I'm not seeing it. Radio silence. For anybody listening to the podcast, that's a really boring part. Yeah, why isn't the ISO on there? It should be right here. Well, anyways, it was on auto ISO. and I'm sure it wasn't at the base 100. I'm not sure why it doesn't show up. For some reason, my Sony cameras, the EXIF data kind of gets stripped out a little bit when I export out of Lightroom. The Olympus cameras, all of it stays intact. So if anybody's a Sony user and they have an answer for that, I'd be curious to know. The next shot, Shelly and I went to the beach. We were going to we were going to look for rocks. We brought black lights. We were going to stay till after dark and look for Uper lights. Yep. And I've got the right flashlights. We were all set up, and we get to this beach, and I mean, actually, almost all the rocks on the beach are probably in this photo. There's like 10 rocks on the whole beach. There really wasn't much there, but there was some cool stumps from trees that were still just sitting there. I mean, this is, what's left over from a tree that, I don't know, was chopped down, broken down or whatever, but I mean, it's kind of embedded there in the beach, but I love the way it was weathered. And as the sun was setting, just the light was great. And I'll tell you what, man, that R3, God, it resolves so much detail. It's so crazy. I wish that people could see an image like this, like on their own screen, at home, not being streamed this way, because there is just a ludicrous amount of detail in this shot. It just blows me away. And this would have been, again, the same setup. This was not with the Tamron or with the Viltrox like I thought the last one was. This is definitely with the 28-75 from Tamron. It's a great lens, especially for the price. You can't beat those Tamron lenses. The next one was from our drive home. We found a field or an orchard, I guess, that was full of chestnut trees. I had never seen a chestnut tree before. I didn't know. I mean, I've heard about roasting them on an open fire, but I didn't know that they come out of like this crazy, I'm going to kill you spiky ball. Those spikes were insanely sharp. I picked it up. I just reached down and grabbed it like you would, whatever, like a walnut from the ground, and basically just impaled myself on those things. They're super sharp, but it was fun to just kind of bust out. This is the Viltrox 85 1.8. I love the bokeh on that lens, especially if you got something up close and your light sources are far away. The bokeh balls are pretty great. Those round bokeh balls across the center of the frame horizontally, that's actually the light in the morning coming up over the horizon through the trees in the orchard. You can't even tell that's a row of trees back there. I love that creamy bokeh like that. The next shot, in case you don't listen to what I talk about constantly online, it's my damn truck that I waited like 15 months for. So it's kind of become my portable subject. If I don't have something to shoot when I'm out, I just get out of my truck and start taking pictures of my truck. So this was not too long after I got it, actually. I think it was the same week, maybe. We had an amazing sunset. So I just drove to this little spot just outside of town that I go to. And you have to drive up over the curb to get out into the grass. So that was my first quote unquote, like off-roading in the truck, was driving over a curb. But I wanted to get out. I love the I don't know what you'd call them. They're just the halo lights on the front. It's basically like daytime running lights in a way. And then the horizontal lights that cut into the round lights, those are actually your turn signals as well. So when you turn on your turn signal, those turn amber or whatever. But I love the lighting on this truck, and just thought I'd run out into the field and snap a couple of shots. And this is with the A7R3 single exposure, not bracketed. I haven't bracketed shots in quite a while, actually, for some reason. But and this is with Tamron's 17-28. And this is my girlfriend's hand. This is Shelly's hand when we were out on that beach. We didn't find any rocks, but she found a piece of beach glass. Yeah, like there were no rocks, but there just happened to be a piece of beach glass. So lucky her. It was her first piece of beach glass too she's ever found. So that was exciting as well. And this is shot with the 28-75 on the A7R3 as well. Oh, so that sunset, it was looking like it wasn't going to be great. And we left and we got a little ways away from the beach and look in the rearview mirror. And it was probably one of the best sunsets of the year. And if you follow Mark Miller at all, he got photos that night of that sunset. It was just ridiculous. And he was kind of up that way, probably maybe 45 minutes or an hour north of us. He wasn't too far away. He got astounding photos. But there is a good side to this. I missed the sunset, but Shelly and I went to the casino and I went into gamble with $20 in my pocket and walked out almost $700 richer. So
there you go.
I will sacrifice the sunset in the name of the almighty dollar for sure.
Yes, yes, sir.
And I did it in a half hour, so that was nice. So this is from that senior shoot that we did last Saturday. There's so many cool places in Grand Rapids to shoot. I love going down there. And the doors on, I think that it is their art school downtown. I think it's Kendall College of Art and Design. I'm pretty sure that's the building, but they have these amazing doors with gorgeous patina on them. So naturally, I'm going to throw my subject in front of those doors. And this is shot again. This is the A7R or the A7 III and Tamron's 28-75. Not a ton of work here, but I did use one of the new features in Lightroom to rework this photo. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, what I used, but it's basically a good way to edit everything but your subject. So it's pretty cool. And another shot, again, from the same day, same person, same camera, different lens. It's Viltrox's 85 millimeter f1.8. And I do remember when I'm shooting people, though, to not shoot at f1.8. I stopped down to like f2 or 2.2, I think is the next stop on that lens, just so that I can have both eyeballs in focus, because f1.8 on full frame just gives you the tip of the eyelashes in focus. It's just almost impossible to work with. And just another shot from there. Jerry knows this place. It's a cool parking garage there in Grand Rapids to shoot at. Cool architecture there. So again, 28-75 for this shot as well. I'm always shooting in auto ISO as well when I'm shooting with the Sony cameras. I've got it set up on my Sony cameras so that if I'm at 1/100th of a second, it will automatically start ramping up the ISO, because it's harder to hold that full frame sensor steady than it is micro four thirds. Even though you've got image stabilization, I can't handhold a slow shutter speed as long on the Sonys as I can on the Olympus. I mean, I can do 5-6 seconds on the Olympus.
Olympus image stabilization is a lot better.
It's better, and because you've got such a small sensor, they can actually move that around a lot more to compensate for your movement than you can full frame. Full frame, you've got very little movement inside of that, we'll call it chamber, that the sensor floats within. I mean, they could probably do better image stabilization in the bigger cameras if the camera was a lot bigger, so that they had more room for the sensor to float, but that doesn't make sense to do anything like that.
All right, I got pictures.
All right.
I found some.
So John asked if I posted the stump photo on Flickr. Yes, I did. So if you give me a look up on Flickr, that photo's over there. I don't remember what resolution it's at. It should be full resolution over there. And fun to test drive it for me. Yes. I know you're giving me crap about it for quite a while until I got it.
Can you see?
We can see. That's right. You forgot you went on that little adventure the other day.
So I went for Jared. My cousin's never been to Big Sabo, and we had some time to kill. So I was like, let's go out there and go for this hike. So I felt like hiking. He's never been out there. So we drove the hour to Ludington, and it's a 1.8 mile hike out to this lighthouse. So we went for a walk, and I took the Sony with me with the 18 millimeter and just shot things along the way. So this is like the only bush out here on the beach. So I just tried to do something a little different than I normally would do, and kind of like hid the base of the lighthouse behind the bush. This is, I don't know what this thing is. It's the lookout hut. I don't know what you call it.
I've always wondered that too.
Yeah, I don't know what that's called. It just sits out there on the right.
Looks like it's got a chimney.
Right. I mean, who knows, man? But just centered it up, and the clouds look pretty good that day. So on all these shots, I'm not really fond of the edits, but something different. I just tried to mix it up and do something out of the ordinary that I normally don't do. So I underexposed these by 2.5 stops, just so I could keep the detail in the sky.
Yep.
and then I just brought everything else back. Same thing with all these shots. This is the hike, the walk out there. It's there's a road out that goes out the entire length of the hike, and it's gravel. A little bit of it is sand. You're not allowed to drive out there. That road is for the people that stay and maintain the lighthouse. So we're only allowed to walk it or ride pedal bikes, but it is
If
a
you're
service
interested,
road.
people, you can stay at the lighthouse. You can sign up, and I don't remember what it costs or how it works, but you can spend a week out there as
Yep.
the caretaker.
Yep. And then this is just on the way out, a little pond that's out there and sits at the base of the dunes. So I got a little bit of the green, some of the sand, and then the sky was just pretty much gray other than those few clouds out there. And I was able to get a little bit of reflection in the pond.
Looks like a cold Michigan day walking out there.
It was a little chilly. And I took this shot just because I like that leading line out there to the cloud.
I don't think I saw that one online. I like that one.
Yeah, I didn't post this one on there. And then again, just kind of extreme editing a little. It's not something I would normally do, but I was having fun with it. I mean, that was when I went out and took these pictures, this is kind of what I had in mind. I took this one a while ago, but I haven't posted this yet, so I figured I'd share it here. I should have waited another second so I could have got the full name of the boat in the shot, but I just took this to show the sheer size of this boat. I mean, that lighthouse is pretty big itself.
Yeah.
And that boat just towers that thing, man. If I would have been on the other pier, you probably would have seen the boat over the top of the lighthouse. But the angle I'm at, I'm sitting below it. So,
yep.
And then this is Frankfurt. I took this just recently, maybe last month. We went out at probably maybe 1 o'clock in the morning.
That's the night we were out there.
Was you with me this night?
Yeah. Yep.
That was me and you that was out there. Correct. Yep.
Yep.
Because I know I went out there with Jared once too, but we were shooting cell phones that night. Yeah, this is the night me and you went out there. Yep. Oh yeah, when you stuck your hand in that hole with that damn crayfish down there. Yeah. So this is just Frankfurt Lighthouse and shot with the Sony and I'm gonna guess 28 to 75, the Tamron lens.
Probably the last Milky Way shot of the season right there.
Right. And there's a guy fishing. Barely see him, but he's out there. And that is it for my photos.
Nice. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I was there that night with you then. Because I don't remember a crayfish. The night I went with you, we went also to that abandoned ski resort, and
yeah, this wasn't the same night then.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah, I had a run-in with a probably rabid raccoon at the abandoned ski resort that day.
Yep. And then I took pictures of that thing. Remember when it was in the tub?
Yeah. Yep.
And I can't find them pictures of that raccoon. I don't know where they went. But that's because my Lightroom's all jacked up right now.
Gotcha.
Everything I've taken this year is in a folder called 2021.
Yeah.
And every other folder is named 2021.
Oh my God.
Everything I've taken is in. I have like 30 folders that say 2021.
You got some work to do this winter.
Oh yeah, it's gonna. I'm deleting
Shelly says a bus goes out to the lighthouse a couple times a year, takes seniors and others out to the lighthouse. Well, you know what? I'm getting close to that senior age, so I'll be riding the bus.
Take the bus.
No, but yeah. So about Lightroom and Photoshop, man, everybody here has probably already at least watched one or two of the videos on the new features. At least the ones that I'm pumped about. And the slight chance that somebody watching or listening to this hasn't watched any of the videos or knows about what some of these new features are, I'll just go over my favorite one. And that is just the object selection that is not just in Photoshop, because Photoshop had object selection before. You'd go to your selection tool, choose object selection and drag a rectangular box around whatever, we'll say a car, and it would do a pretty decent job of grabbing the car. You might have to go back in with like a a lasso tool or the pen tool and kind of refine that a little bit. But now what is amazing in Photoshop is you select that object selection tool, and as soon as you hover your mouse over like a person or a car or a building, it'll instantly become highlighted blue. I mean, just instantly. You don't even have to drag a box around it. Hover your mouse over it, it instantly becomes highlighted, and you can just select it, and it's selected. It's ridiculous. And Adobe just goes through automatically, and as you have an image open, it's already analyzing your photo and looking for things that it deems are objects. It's pretty easy to do that, probably, with AI now. There's enough contrast, between a foreground subject and a background subject for it to know that, that is what it would consider an object that might be selectable or want to be selected by the end user. So it's lightning fast. I don't have like the newest iMac. My iMac's a couple years old, but it's still like it's so fast. It's instantaneous. It just boom, it knows what I want to select. And not only does it know what I want to select, but the edges are refined super good. I mean, I haven't gone back and had to make any major adjustments to like refine for hair and things like that.
Really?
Yeah, it's
I'm
a
gonna have to
game
look into
changer.
it.
Yeah, it will speed up. I mean, anybody's workflow, based on, I don't care what you're shooting, whether you're a portrait shooter or a landscape shooter or you shoot cars, it doesn't matter. If you want to selectively edit your scenes, if you want to clone things out, content aware fill things, stuff like that, it speeds up the workflow so fast, it's not even funny. And I think what's even more exciting about that is not just that it's in Photoshop and it's so powerful, but it's in Lightroom now as well. And it works a little differently in Lightroom, but the toolbars have changed. So you're basically going to go to your adjustment brush tool, and then you can choose that you want to select subject, and it'll recognize, again, like Photoshop does, things that it assumes are subjects for you, and it will automatically create a mask for that. And
Right.
it's got two modes. It's got one for subject and then sky. So if you're a landscape photographer, it's super cool because it'll automatically select the sky. And then what I like about it is that, so let's say it selects the sky, but you wanted to keep the sky the same and you just wanted to adjust like the mountains in the foreground, you can
Invert it.
actually invert. Yeah, you can invert your mask. And what's cool is you can go through and make multiple masks throughout different parts of your image. So we're getting close to where Photoshop and Lightroom are there. Eventually they're going to be one thing. You know what I mean? I think so. Or at least they should put 90% of the features from Photoshop into Lightroom. I still think that the like content aware fill should end up in photo or in Lightroom at some time, because it's so much better in Photoshop than it is in Lightroom. If you just try to use the healing brush, it's garbage compared to using content aware fill or the clone tools in Photoshop. But that I definitely recommend anybody who is part of the Adobe Creative Cloud suite, update your stuff now and give it a whirl, and message me. Let me know what you think about it. I want to see what other people are doing with it. But it's Dwayne's late. You didn't miss anything, really. Jerry's just talking about strippers and picking cotton and ice machines in Alabama, and then we did some photo stuff. But I love it when people just jump into the chat and I give them the most random response. But yeah, I really am interested to hear what other people are going to start doing with those new tools in Photoshop and Lightroom. I mean, I know what I'm going to do, or I have ideas on how I'll use them, but I want to see what other people are doing too. So keep me in the loop on what you guys are doing. It's pretty sweet. And then another thing that Adobe announced that it's sort of photography related. It's going to be photography related for me. And that is they're going to put in an option so that you can save out an image as an NFT. And I'm not going to get going on what an NFT is and why that matters, but I will say that it is, if you follow the news on what Facebook is doing, oh my God, we could go down a rabbit hole. Just look up what the metaverse is and look up why Facebook changed their name to Meta and look up how NFTs play into all that.
Are they trying to cash in on people's junk now?
We'll go down the rabbit hole just like 2 steps. So the metaverse is basically like, if you've seen the movie Ready Player One, or think of the Matrix, people live in like this virtual world in those movies. The metaverse, think of it as that virtual world, but it's around you all the time. Imagine putting on a pair of glasses, and it's not a coincidence that Facebook just did this big thing with Ray-Ban for a pair of glasses. But imagine putting on a pair of glasses and you're walking down the sidewalk in your town, and you turn the glasses on, and now overlaid on top of the real world in front of you, like your local coffee shop could have like a 3D avatar of a coffee cup spinning, showing what's on sale. And to take it another step further, you go into the coffee shop, and the barista in the coffee shop, she or he has created an avatar for themselves. And when you're looking through those glasses, if they have an avatar, you might be interacting with their avatar instead of with them. It sounds crazy and totally off the wall, but
these kids are already screwed up.
These kids.
This is going to destroy people.
Or it'll give them the chance to get out in public and still live in their safe virtual world, but they're still going to be in public maybe doing it. But regardless, NFTs and virtual currencies, those things are all going to be a part of the metaverse. And Adobe's wise enough to get in on this action and help make it easier for someone to take one of their images and save it out as an NFT, which basically means that if I sold Jerry my image, the NFT of my image, it means he has irrefutable proof that he owns the original. There's no way to dispute that because the proof lives on the blockchain. Right. Shit, this is going to get really deep down rabbit hole. I'll just stop now. But anyways, Adobe's doing cool stuff. That's the too long didn't read part. I just invite you to go check out what they're doing. Oh my God.
Or we can talk about it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we should do that. We'll come back and talk about it in 2 weeks when more than just me has played with it. But yeah, again, I'm pumped for where Adobe's going with using AI. We're seeing it in phones a ton. Olympus has been doing it forever. OM Systems has been doing it forever, in their cameras with live composite and things like that. It's cool to see these technologies kind of spreading out all the way across photography. And yeah, I just can't wait to see what else they start doing. So it's pretty cool. Your turn. I've been talking a lot.
So how did Carter do driving a truck? Was he nervous?
No.
Was he scared he was going to scratch that thing or what?
No, but the acceleration is different. Everything's different in it than it is in the car he's been driving.
Right.
So he got in and gave it gas, and we're like this for a second, and I'm like, all right, we're good. We're fine. We haven't hit anything yet. And it was funny because he said, I don't remember what he said exactly, but the steering wheel is a different size than it is in the car. And he's driving. He goes, I just got to get used to the gas and the brakes. They're different. And then in the steering wheel, he goes, it's more circular. He goes, I don't know. I can't explain it. He goes, it just feels different. I said, well, yeah, they're both round, but it was hilarious. But he had fun driving it. So he's going to use that when he does his driver's training test because it's got the 360 cameras.
Right.
And so many kids fail the driving test now because they have to parallel park. And so many kids screw that up. Like my kid screwed it up. The girl I work with, her son just failed this week because of the parallel parking. So
do they make them do it on the street?
No, then that's what sucks.
In a parking lot, right?
They do it in a parking lot with cones. It's not the same as parallel parking between cars.
I had to do that shit between cars.
So did I. Like in a downtown with traffic, and people are like impatient, like looking at you, like, "Will you get out of the way? Get these kids out of here." But yeah, no, it was cool. But that's all I've got for tonight, folks. I did a lot of talking about a lot of crazy stuff. We talked about the blockchain and the metaverse.
That's right.
Go figure. But it's the future, folks, and it's coming. So I implore you to start considering converting some of your images over to NFTs and maybe maybe make a little cash on the side from those. You never know.
That is right.
But with that, I think I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to polish off this drink and hopefully not get food poisoning from this weird. It's like separating.
Looks
Can
nasty.
you see the layers?
Yeah.
It's like pulpy.
It's dark on one side.
Yeah, it's pulpy pineapple juice on the bottom and rum. And I don't know what the clear stuff is on top. Oh man. This show definitely went a little sideways. So until the next episode, you guys, we'll see you. And like I said, share some of your work with us. I'd like to see what you're doing with some of the new features in Photoshop and Lightroom. So in 2 weeks, you guys take care.